again, it's like that whole Auckland versus, you know, New Zealand. And they always, even to this day, they fail to realise that overseas, in other countries, people don't go, oh, this band's from Auckland. You know, they say this band's from New Zealand. There is no Auckland, there's no Wellington, there's no New Plymouth. It's a country called New Zealand.
Horror Story on Facebook for Horror Story. And,
okay, so with the Horror Story for you, is it the music or is it the theatrical, the way they do the visual?
Well, it's all about the music. It's, you know, the visual's part of it, but it's all about the music.
What are the consequences to the artists that confront or provoke the industry?
Usually, in that case, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, it's not even worth considering for a band like us. You know, the industry isn't there for us. The industry is there for the bands sign up to mainstream record labels, and that's basically what the large-scale industry is about. I don't subscribe to that. We don't subscribe to any of those ideas.
As pure, you know, like he gets up in the morning, you must get up in the morning and just do, you know, the mind, it's one track mind all the bloody time, mate. Get this happening, get this out there. And it appears to be what he's about. Actually, the work ethic is stronger than the song, stronger than the image, stronger than everything, in my eyes. They probably wouldn't like to hear that, but what the hell? They're not there looking for a, you know, a song about how my baby left me or something. They just want to rock out, and they're a band who does it. They rock out, they, you know, bit of craziness and all that, and that's exactly what they're for.
When I met him, I really liked him. I thought we clicked.
They're a rock and roll, you know, rockabilly party band, I guess is the best way to describe them. And some of them can play damn well, and there's some good songs there. And
he probably told me about it and brought stuff in. And pictures of Horror Story to be published in the Daily News at that stage.
Thing on, that's good. And the way they can get themselves in the paper. Hey, they could tell the Daily News, the Nigel News, you know, or the Horror Story News.
First time I heard Nigel Toxic was actually his real name. I was on the police scanner at work when they were looking for him in connection with someone holding up a rest home looking for drugs with a toy pistol.
Gonna go and ask those people at the old folks home that he did that robbery on years ago about him? With toy submachine guns. Bloody magic, eh? He was a star, you know?
Tabloid newspapers. I wasn't living here, I was in Levin. And of course the guys from the Nod used to come through and stay with us on the way to Wellington, and I'd see these stories about this guy Nigel Toxic.
So I didn't realise that he was a musician at that stage, and then later on he kept appearing in lots of bands. Soon after that, without seeing them, I saw them on television. They had their clip on TV pretty soon after they were formed, I think. And I thought the clip was pretty good because I was interested in doing rock videos, and no one had done any in New Plymouth really that were any good. His one kind of worked, and I thought, well, good on them. It would be quite a good stage show to do, and that whole Munster thing, I always liked that anyway.
You know, when we started Horror Story, you know, I mean, no one else was doing anything like that, and it took a long time. I've come across a couple of bands that play what I'd call dark rock, which is the closest thing to what we do in New Zealand. So we're still in a league of our own here. There are no other horror punk acts. That's the genre that everyone seems to define it under. There are a few bands around that do that sort of, darker side of rock, but there is still no other horror punk act in this country. Here in New Zealand, we're sort of out of the way from that, you know, and that's where we become in a league of our own because we're here. So, okay, if you take a copy of Bride of the Monster and you look underneath the disc where they have the serial code,
yeah.
You know, they have the info around the, you know, underneath, just around the circle.
Right at the centre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on the bottom of Bride of the Monster by Horror Story, there's a Universal logo. Basically, this guy said, Jip, I'll make your CDs at a decent price. Okay, he works at a company that presses CDs for Universal. Mate, they didn't even notice for him to take 500 CDs and press them. As if they're going to notice that. They didn't. You know? I mean, so that is why there is a Universal logo underneath the Bride of the Monster CD. At least on the original pressings, because those discs were stolen from Universal. And, you know, I mean, apart from me saying this right now in this interview, they would never, ever know. And they're never going to be able to find out who it was. Universal had nothing to do with it. We just happened to be using their discs. And, you know, if they're too stupid to know how many discs they have, you know, I mean, I know it's millions, so they're not going to notice when, you know, 500 or 1,000 CDs disappeared. Blanks, I mean, you know.
In the beginning, I suppose I wasn't comfortable as the front man. People just, you know, quite often, you know, people want to get up on the stage, you know, and almost like trying to be one of the members of the band and that sometimes, you know, and yeah. So they usually get a bit of a push off. I don't know if my work ethics is refined as Nigel's.
Yeah, my website's New Plymouth Rock and Roll. Started it in 2002 just because didn't really find anything like it, and there might as well have been. Used free tools all the way through it, and it's you go to it on the internet, www.nprockyandroll.music with a z.nz. Sounds a bit of a mouthful, but it'll come up in magical letters on the screen, hopefully. You know, it doesn't matter if you're on a major label or just putting out your own stuff. People can find you, they can go to your website or contact you straight away through things like MySpace and World Horror Network, and Number One Music's quite a good one. We've had a few thousand downloads off there. It's been pretty good.
I can't imagine Toxic in that, even for all the money in the world, wanting to water down some image and become plastic cover boys.
The bottom line is that in reality it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. You know, if you can bitch and somebody can bitch and moan about something, but as long as you get up the next morning and carry on, who cares? You know.
Go!
Nigel